Welcome guys to the video. Today we're going to be building a recipe application. We're going to be using Next.js. We're going to be using the Freemio API, and then we're going to be using Tailwind CSS, JavaScript. You're going to learn how to make API calls, how to work with server-side components, and how to work with React State, how to work with use effects. All of that, you're going to work with that. You're going to work with dynamic routes. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go into the demonstration. Okay, so here we have the header. So the header is made using Tailwind CSS. Here we have the components. So here these components, they are being fetched from this free meal API. So here you can see we're fetching chicken. Here you can filter it to fetch something else. So if you want to fetch beef, and then you see there's a loading, then it fetches the beef. Here if you want to fetch pork, it loads, and then you can fetch pork. And then here you can search for any meal that you want. So let's say I want chicken, and then I can say search, and then here we can get the chicken meals. So yeah, I like this chicken. I can open that, and then we can see. So this is page's dynamic page. It's using Next.js app router to grab this ID, and then it's making a server-side fetch, and then it's getting all this on the server, and then sending the HTML to us. So here we're getting the image, we're getting the title, the ingredients, steps on how to make the meal, and then here we get the YouTube video. So it gives us, so this API, alongside giving you the recipe, it also gives you the YouTube video to the YouTube link. Yeah, so I won't play this for copyright reasons, but then each meal that you get from this API, it's going to have a YouTube link. So we're just using an iframe, passing in the YouTube link, and then we're able to play the video which corresponds to this meal. So yeah, here you're going to learn a lot. If you're interested, please hit the like button, the subscribe button. It also helps me, to keep me motivated to keep making more videos. Okay, thank you guys. Start. So first thing, we need to install Next.js. So we go to Vercel. So it's pretty simple. You click Get Started Installation. Then in your terminal, you're going to copy this command, and then you're going to paste this command into your terminal. Once you do that, it's going to start asking you some questions. What is the name of your project? So you just type in the name of your project, and then you type enter. Would you like to use TypeScript? No. Would you like to use ESLint? No. Would you like to use Tailwind? Yes. Would you like to use the source directory? No. Would you like to use app router? Yes. Then no, no. And then click enter. Then it's going to install Next.js, and then yes, you'll be ready to go. So I've already done that. Here's my installation. So it's using Next.js version 14 with the new app router. So just to run that, it's npm run dev, and then it runs on localhost 3000. So this is what I have open on my localhost 3000. Okay, so yeah, with the new app router, anything that you're naming page, that's going to correspond to a page on in the browser. That's going to basically be your page. So this is the main page, and then this is the layout. So if you're coming from React, think of the layout as the app.js file or the index.js file. This is the file that sits above all the other files. So this is the main file. And then if we want more files, so we're just going to say, okay, for example, we want the recipe page. So we'll just say recipe dot, needs to be the folder. So it's recipe, and then we create a folder. Then inside this folder, it's page.js. So it's going to be now like localhost 3000 / recipe. Yeah, it's going to be like this to access this page. So that's how it works. So let me just delete this quickly. So if you don't name something page.js, even if it's inside a folder, it's going to get ignored. So that's why inside this app folder, we can create a components folder. That's why we're able to do that. Since in here we're not going to name anything a page, so it's going to be ignored, and then it can be for components. Our first component is going to be a header. So we're just going to have a simple header. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so it's a file header.js, perfect. And then, yeah, this is going to be a simple file. And then it's just going to say recipe. So it's going to be class name of flex. So we want everything in the header to be flexed. We're going to give it a background of black, and then we're going to give it a padding of 10. Okay, so yeah, then it's just going to say, then we just want an h1 tag, which is just going to say recipe app, like this. And then this will be a text of white, since it's on a black background, so to see it, we'll put it as a white text. It's going to be 3XL, the size, and then the font, it'll be semi-bold. Yeah, I'll show you how it looks in a second. Save this file, close it, and then we go to our app page. So our app page right now, it looks like this. So we need to delete all of this so that we have a fresh start. So let's just delete this main tag. Perfect. Then we put a div. Okay. Okay, that's good. And then in the div, we're going to import the header so we can see it. Okay, then we save the file. So we've imported the header, and then we should be able to see it. Go back to our page. Then let's just refresh it. Okay, as it's refreshing, let's cleanse. They are from the styles that they just come with Next.js. So we need to delete this, save, and then go back to our app page. Yeah, you see these lines that I'm talking about. So that line that we removed from global CSS, it removes those lines because we don't need those lines. And then let's just wait for it to reload. Okay, done. It's refreshed. So this is our header. It's responsive. Okay, looks kind of nice. Let's carry on. So after the header, I'm going to make the search component. So below the header, we want a search component where we can search for the recipes, and we want to be able to also filter out the recipes. So that's the next part that we're doing. So in the components, create a new file, call it search. Okay, then in here, we're going to import the file, search. Then we're going to go into the file. Then inside the file, we're going to create two input fields, one for searching, then one for filtering. So we're going to be filtering through categories, and we're going to be searching. So yeah, you see here, I just say search. Okay, so here we want an input field. So first we want to select, so it's going to be select, and then it's going to be, yeah, the select is going to be a class name of, and then it's going to have a border of 2, and then it's going to be border gray. It's going to have a background of white. It's going to have a height of 10, then padding of on either side of 5, then a padding right of 16, then it's going to be rounded. So rounded is just going to give, yeah, you'll be able to see very soon. Just bear with me. And then focus outline, none. So we don't want those lines when you're focusing on it. Right? Then so a select, we have options inside a select. So the first option is going to be beef, and then it's going to say beef, and then let's just copy this and so we can paste it. So we're just going to have 4 options for now. Yeah, you can always add more options later, or create an array, then get the options that way. But then this way is just a simple way so that you can see, you can have an idea how it's done, and then you can extend the functionality later. So this will just be a basic of how we can do these things, and then later on you can extend the functionality. And then so yeah, okay, let's save and then just see how it looks like. Okay, let's wait for it to load. Okay, so you see this is the input. Okay, it says beef because yeah, we didn't change, sorry about that. So yeah, it's chicken, lamb, and pork. Okay, so yeah, now we should be good, and then we should have, okay, you see we should now have all these options. Okay, that's good. Okay, now we want an input for search, so let's just put a space here. So this will be simple, so it's just a basic input, and then class name. Okay, so the input, we wanted to have a border, then the color will be gray, so it'll be border gray 300. So basically it's just going to be the same styles as the one above. Okay, so it's just going to be the same styles, and then after that, so let's just save that, and then let's see what it looks like. So yeah, we have the inputs, we have the one for filtering, then we have the one for searching. Perfect. Now we now want a button. So the button is going to have a background of black. It's going to have a hover of background green. So it's going to have a hover of BG green 700. It's going to have a text of white. Okay, yeah, these look good. Then it's going to say search. Okay, perfect. So this is going to be our button. Let's save that, and then let's see what it looks like. And then you see we have our input, then we have our button that hovers. When you hover it, it goes green. Perfect. So you see now it's not looking nice. We want it to be on the center of the page, and then to do that, it's very easy. We can just put this, we can flex it, and then to center it, we say items center, and then justify, and top 20, margin bottom of 4, so that it has some, margin at the bottom, and then yeah, you see it now becomes centered. Yeah, that looks good. And then so in between here and here, we want something like a text so that someone knows that. So we can just say or, so it's like filter or search, so that someone knows like there's a difference. And then let's just style that text. Let's give it text of Excel. So that's extra large, font of semi bold. Then we can make it centered, so the text will be centered. Then we can give it a spacing of on either side of 4. Then we make the text gray, so this would be something like gray 500. And then yeah, so it's filter or search, simple. Okay, We close that, and then so now we want something like a card so that we can display the recipes. But then I think it's best if we can first fetch these recipes. So I think that would be the best way to do this. If we can first fetch the recipes and then be able to, okay. So yeah, the best way for us to be able to fetch these recipes is going to be using a use effect and a use client hook. So that's going to be the best way to fetch these recipes. So the reason why we're not using the server component for this one is because we're going to be using inputs, we're going to be using state, and when you're using inputs and state, you cannot do a server-side fetch. You can only do a server-side fetch if there are no inputs, there are no React components, because React does not work on the server. So you cannot do you cannot do that type of fetch. Okay, so yeah, I hope you understand that. Then so here we would have to say use client, because the Next.js everything is a server component. So you have to specify when you want to use something which is not. And then so let's import React from React, and then from React we need use state. We need a use state, and then we need a use effect. Okay, so we need a use state and a use effect, and then so we need a variable. We'll call it recipes. So that will be storing our recipes, and then yeah, we need also search, right? And then we need a loading. So we need a loading state. Okay, perfect. And then here we need a use effect that's going to fetch. Okay, perfect. So this use effect, first we say loading is equals to true, since we'll be fetching. And then so in here we're going to have another variable, since because remember when we're fetching data we need to await it. So inside a use effect, to await something you need an inner function, so it's going to be fetch recipes, right? Then we're going to await the data. So here we're going to get the URL to fetch the recipes, and then so we need a try and catch block. So that's the best way to do it, so that if there are any errors we can catch them, right? So it's going to be a try and then catch. So a try and catch block, so here it returns you an error. This error we can just console log to see, okay, why did it fail. And then in here that's where we're going to make the request. So let's just remove all this. Okay, so in here that's where we're going to make the fetch request. So it's going to be a const res equals await fetch and then the URL. Okay, yeah, this is our URL, and then not yet, so it's going to be if. So it gives us something called a res okay, and then so if that fails then we throw an error. If that doesn't fail then it's then we know that it was successful. So if it was successful we take the result, and then we're going to turn the result into a JSON object. So it's going to be we're going to await the result, and then we're going to convert that result into a JSON object that we can read. Okay, then we're going to take that JSON object, then we're going to set it to the recipes, and then it's going to be result.meals. Okay, so yeah, I know you're a bit confused right now, so let me explain what all these things are doing. Save for now, and then we come here. So this site is called the meal DB. So it's a free API, and then it has all these endpoints. So if you want to search something by name, you just take this endpoint and then you call it inside your application, and then you get that meal. So you get the JSON data for that meal, right? If you want to search something by a category, so here, not there. So here the category is seafood. So if you search that, then you get all the meals that are in the category of seafood. So that's what we're doing here. We're getting all the, so yeah, this is not the one. So we want the one with the category because we want to get the category for, let's go back and show you. So yeah, we want to get the category like this. We want to get the category. So we come here. So this is the link that we want. We want to get the category of seafood, and then yeah, that's perfect. And then outside here, we do the actual fetch. Fetch recipes. Then okay, and then we go to our app. If we're good, we refresh. If there are no errors, then it means it was successful. We check our console log to see if we're getting the JSON with the data. Since we're not really console logging it anyway, so let's just wait a bit, then console log and see the data. Yeah, so right now there are no errors. We can console log the recipes here. Okay, is that the name of the variable? The state that we named? Okay, that is. Okay, recipes. Okay, let's check. Failed to load the resource. Why did it fail? Let's go back. Okay, the link doesn't have an HTTPS. Could that be the reason? Let's check. Maybe that could be the reason why it failed. Okay, let's check the data that gets returned. So it's meals. Okay, let's console log it here on the result to see. So we're just doing a bit of debugging to see, okay, at which point are we getting this issue. Let's refresh the page. Okay, we're getting the meals. Okay, let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're getting the meals. Perfect. So where are we going wrong? Okay, so that's line 37. Okay, so yeah, that's good. We're getting the meals. So we can comment this out. So yeah, we need a way to display these meals on the screen. As you can see right now, there's no way to display the meals. Let's close that. So we need a way like that we can display these meals. So we need something like a card that we can use to display these meals. So we go back to our components. We create something called a card.js. Okay, so this card is going to be very simple. We don't want to overly complicate things. So it's going to be a max width. So yeah, it needs to have a max width, so it's not just taking up the whole space. It needs a border of width 2. It needs the border needs to be gray. So it's just a light subtle color. It needs to have a cursor. So when you hover over the card, it's going to have a cursor, and then when you hover over it, we need the border to become black, so that we know like, hey, we're hovering over this. Okay, perfect. So surrounding this, it needs to have a link, and then okay, perfect. So we don't have this page yet. We're going to create it after, don't worry. For now, just we need to close this link. Okay, perfect. Inside here, we need an image. So this is going to be a Next.js image. We import that. The image is going to have a source. Okay, so it's going to have a source. The image is going to have a width of 350. Then we give it a height. Yeah, so a Next.js image, if you don't give it a width and a height, it doesn't work. And then yeah, we don't, it doesn't need a class width. It just needs an out. So an out, it will be meal image. Okay, so yeah, something simple. It's not too complicated. We have an h1, so this h1 is going to be meal name. Okay, so that's going to be the name of the meal. It's going to be on this h1. Then it's going to be class name of, so the background is going to be white. Okay, so background of white, you don't really see that, but if someone maybe is using dark mode, so we don't want everything to become dark. Yeah, in future videos we'll be implementing dark and light mode, but for this one, this one is just for basics, so that if you're a beginner, you have somewhere to start. Then we wanted to have a text of center. Okay, then meal name. Okay, so the card, we're going to import it here, and we're going to pass down these recipes. Okay, so here is going to receive a recipe. All right. Yeah, so sorry, I'm not showing now, because if I show now, then it's going to, everything will break. And then, so the recipe, it will be recipe dot meal ID. So we come here where we code it. So it's meals, then the meal name is called this, str meal. So that's going to be the meal name. So we come here, and then it's recipe dot, so this question mark is a ternary operator. It says if this does not exist, don't keep going, so that our app doesn't crash. Yeah, so that's it. Then we need the thumbnail for the image, so that will be recipe. Okay, then we save. So our card is good for now, and then here we want to display that card. Okay, so in this card, the first step is we need a div, an outer div that's going to surround everything. So this outer div is going to have a class name. So the outer div is going to have a class name of flex, then items center, then we justify everything to the center, then it's going to have a padding of 10. Okay, then we close it. So this is going to surround everything, and then we have the actual div that's going to surround. Okay, so it's going to be class name. Yeah, I don't mind these suggestions, they are very wrong. Okay, so it's going to be class name, and then it's going to be flex, and then it's going to be flex wrap. So flex wrap is for in those cases where we no longer have space, we want it to wrap. And then on large devices, we want it to be a flex row. So we're saying on small devices, we want it to occupy one, and then on large devices, it occupies. We can have many instances. Then items, yeah, that's how best we can explain that. Then we want a gap of 5. Okay, and then so here we're getting the recipes. Let's go back to our app. We're getting the recipes, so it's going to be recipes. Okay, we come here, so it's results.meals. So we have the meals already, so we can just map it directly. So we say results.map, and then remember that recipe that was sending down to card, we extract that. Then inside, so yeah, inside we want these brackets, and then here we want the card, and then yeah. Okay, so we need to import the card. Okay, yeah, that's okay if it's not importing. We can manually import. Yeah, it's imported. Perfect. Then we refresh. If everything went well, our page should be full. If it didn't go well, we'll debug what went wrong. Okay, link is not defined. So we go to card, and then here, the link is not been defined. So you just delete this K, enter it again, and then it's going to suggest. And then you press enter, then it auto imports. Then you save. So that's how you auto import something. Then we reload again, and then we hope that the coding gods are on our side. Yeah, as it loads, we can think about what we want to do next. So when you click this recipe, it should go to a recipes page where we can open the details of the recipe. So that's the next part. Okay, so it's saying that this is not configured into Next.js source name. So we come here into this file which is called Next.js, and then we open this. Then we say images, so like this, and then yeah, perfect. We add that. Yeah, that matches. We refresh. Okay, change Next.js restarting server to apply changes. Wait for that to happen. Close this. So what happens with Next.js when it sees that an image is coming from an external source? It needs to register that image. So this is what is happening here. We're getting this image from here. So this image, you see here this thumbnail, it's giving us this image from this host name. So in Next.js, it needs to register that. Okay, so let's wait for that to refresh. Okay, let's manually refresh, and then let's see if it works. Okay, as it reloads, we can just carry on with the explanation. So I was saying, this is the card. As you click the card, we want to a new page called recipes, and then it sends the ID of the meal. And then on that page, we're going to do a server-side fetch. So now we're going to fetch using the server side. Because remember, here we couldn't fetch using the server side because we don't have the on the main page. If we come on the main page, we're using client, we're importing, so you're using state here, you're using forms. So in that case, you cannot use a server-side component because on the server there's no React components, there's no React to state, so you have to use client. But then on this page that we now need to create, is going to be a server. Okay, it's going to be a server component. Since we don't have any state, we don't have any, we're just going to be fetching and displaying. So yeah, this page we're going to use server components, and then yeah, you see it fetches. Okay, let's just wait for it to load. But then yeah, you see all the recipes, they get fetched. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, we're going to look at the filtering and the search for recipe after, but then for now, it fetches. That's all we're interested in. Okay, so that part is done. Okay, so the next part, we need to make a new page. So we make a new folder. So ID, and then inside that page. So this is how you make a slug URL. So a slug URL is basically just a folder where we're passing in a URL. So that's what a slug folder is. And then in this slug folder, so Next.js, when you have a slug folder, it passes you something called a params. Is that the spelling? Okay, params. Yeah, this is the spelling. So it passes you something called a params, and then inside the params, we can extract the ID, and then let's just display the ID. So it's going to be ID. Then let's just save that. Okay, so we have our recipes. We now need to open each recipe. So, okay, it's compiled. So if we click a recipe, it's supposed to take us to the recipes page. Okay, I think we did we rename it properly? Let's see. Okay, it's supposed to be inside the recipes folder. Okay, let's just do that now. Yeah, so slight mistake. So here we're supposed to have a recipes folder, and then we take this and then we're going to put it inside the recipes folder. We move it there. Okay, perfect. So we now have a recipe ID. Okay, let me delete this. Okay, so yeah, I think it's just better to start again because I don't know what it's doing with my files. Okay, so we have two folders, recipes, then ID. So it's the structure, recipes, then the IDs here. And then, so inside this ID, we're going to create a file, and then we're going to call it page.js. Right? Inside page.js, okay, inside page.js, we're going to extract the params. Then inside the params, you're going to have the ID. Okay, and then we want to display the ID on the page. Save, and then we wait. Okay, and then you see we get page with the ID, which is here. Okay, so perfect. And then, so now we want to style this, and then, yeah, I think, yeah, that's the next part. We give this a style. So we wanted to display the image, we want to display all the stuff. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be a bit long, but bear with me. Okay, so the main div is going to have a class name of container because it's going to be a container. Then we're going to center this container, and then we're going to give it a margin bottom and top of 20, and then we're going to have a div inside. Okay, this div is going to have a class name of flex, and then border of 2, border gray of 300, cursor of pointer, then yeah, then we're gonna give it a padding of 4. Okay, that looks good. And then here we're going to have an image. So once you write the image, import it from next. So yeah, press here, we import the image. Then we give it a source. Okay, we leave that empty for now. And then, so the image is going to have a layout of fill. So this is another convention. So you can either, so you either have to put a width, a height, or you can just put a layout of fill. This means it's going to fill the parent container. So we need to wrap this image inside a parent container. So here we're going to say image of meal. Okay, sorry, I thought that was the out. So it's going to be cover, then yeah. Okay, perfect. And then, so we're going to cover this inside a div. Okay. And then the div is what we give the size of the image. So the image just fills that div. Okay, so it's going to be relative. It's going to have a width of 50%. So we can have, these are called arbitrary values, whereby you can put the actual value inside, and then it's going to have a margin right of 8. Okay, yeah, so unfortunately we can't see what this looks like because we don't have the data yet. So just bear with me. It's going to come out nice because right now we don't have the data that we can see. Okay, so after this we need another div. Okay, then inside that div we need an h1. So this is going to be for the name. So meal name. Okay, then the meal name is going to have padding top and bottom of 4, gray, text gray of 300. Oh yeah, 300 is too shallow. Let's put 500. Font of semi bold, text of 2XL, and then text, we're going to center it. We're going to center it, margin bottom of 4. Okay, yeah, I think this should be good for now. And then for image, let's just put a blank image for now. I don't think that will kill the system. Then let's see what it looks like. Okay, let's just wait for it to load. Then let's see what it looks like. Okay, then so the image is going to be here, the meal name is going to be here, then here let's put the ingredients. Okay, yeah, so we might as well just fetch, since we have the ID there, we might as well just do the fetch. So here is a server component, so we don't need React. So here we're going to do an asynchronous function. The asynchronous function is going to call it get data by ID, because remember we're getting the data by ID. We're going to do a const res equals await, then we're going to fetch, then in here we're going to fetch from here, then if the res is not okay, then we're going to throw an error, or else we're going to return the JSON. Okay, perfect. And then here we're going to call the make the call to get the data. We await it, we get the data, we pass in the ID. Okay, yeah, so we need to make this whole function an async call. So here we export by default async function page params, then we delete this export at the bottom, then this becomes an asynchronous function. We save this, but then how do we know that the data fetching worked? So this data, it should be populated, so let's try and populate this. So it's going to be data dot meals. Remember, that's the structure that they give us back. And then so here it's different, we're checking the first array, and then we're getting the thumbnail, so it's str meal thumb, then we save. If it worked, we get the image back. Okay, let's check why we're not getting the image. Image is missing. Okay, did it refresh? Because it's no longer missing. Okay, so wrong spelling of that. Yeah, so check your spellings and make sure they're correct. Okay, we wait. Let's check the console log if there are any issues. Okay, so yeah, we get the data. Perfect. And then now let's put the name in. So the name is going to be SRT meal. So you just be using these routes and then seeing in the browser what it's returning, and then you come here and then that's what you put. So for the name, it's just going to be your data dot meals, right? So it's going to be the same for all the values, and then we get the name of the meal, and then we just wait for it to refresh, and then this should change. Then you see we get the name of the meal. So we're now getting back our data. We can now delete this which is displaying the page data. Okay, perfect. And then we can go back to the main and see if it's working. for all the meals. And then we can go back to the page. We can come here where it says seafood, because I'm seeing seafood, there is a lot of data. So let's just work with chicken to make our lives much simpler. Refresh that, then wait for the data to refresh, because here we're still getting seafood, so we want to get some chicken. Let's refresh. Okay, so we now want to see if we click on these cards, are we now dynamically opening these pages? Okay, so we get the chicken. Okay, perfect. So we get the chicken. Okay, so when we open any chicken here, so let's open this. It should take us to the recipes page, and then it should open the chicken. Yes, so it's doing that. Then it takes us to the recipes page. It opens the chicken. Okay, so now we want to. So now let's say we've opened this recipe, right? So let's go back to the ID page. So yeah, let's get this link. We want to see the structure of the data that we're working with. We paste this data here, and then we get this ID because we want to see what data is being brought back. Then we see this is the data we're getting back. We're getting back this, then yeah, so we now want to display the instructions. Okay, so how do we display the instructions? We come here, we want to display them here. Okay, so first I think we can display the ingredients. Okay, so yeah, the ingredients, it's a bit of a, yeah, it's a lot, to be honest, for the ingredients. So we might need to share, I might need to share my code with you on that one, because that one is a bit much. So the ingredients, we're mapping through the data dot meals, and then yeah, this is the wrong code. Yeah. Okay, so for the ingredients, let's go to my, so I'll have the link in the description, so don't worry about that. So you can just come to my code and you can just copy that code for the ingredients, because that one is it's a lot to be typing, in a tutorial, and then expect you guys to type it. So let's just copy it, then we can explain how it works. We can go over it. Okay, so it's here in the recipe, the page. Okay, so yeah, this is for the ingredients, and then this is for the instructions, and then this is for the, okay, perfect. Let's just copy this, then let's go over it. Okay, so what we're doing with the ingredients, we're mapping through all the ingredients, then we're putting it in a variable. We're mapping through all the measurements, we're putting it in a variable so that we can have headings. On the left side is going to say ingredient, on the right side is going to say measurement, and then for the steps, we're mapping through all the instructions, then we're splitting them so that we have a new line. So we're saying that at the end of each step, we're going to have a new line, so that it's not just one paragraph, and then we're putting a number, then we're putting the step. Okay, and then so each meal is coming in with a YouTube link. So if you come here and you see here where it says str YouTube, so it gives us a YouTube link. So we're just using an iframe, and then we're putting the source, and then we're dynamically putting in the link, and then we're replacing it, and then yeah, should be able to display that video. And then you see here, okay, then so yeah, let's see what the issue was. Okay, Okay, and then yeah, so we get the meal, get the title, we get the ingredients that we've mapped through, we get the steps, and then we get the YouTube video, and then you can watch how the meal is being made and everything. So yeah, I'll include the link to this code because I saw that those two functions will be a lot. Yeah, especially this one going through, all this. Yeah, that'll be a lot. So I'll have this. I'll have the link to this code in the description. Okay. So yeah, let's just go through the code one more time. So yeah, because it's important that you just understand, some of these things. So here we're getting the data. So when you open the page, we expect that you're going to open the page with a link. We get that link from the params. So the params, these are just the URL. So this is just the URL. So we're getting this ID, and then we're fetching, we're calling get data with that ID, and then it gets the meal, and then it returns us the meal. And then here the meal is now in data. And then now we're just displaying the meal. So yeah, very, very simple. And this is using server-side rendering. So this is all happening on the server. So you don't need to, it's not happening on your machine, it's all happening on the server. You come back here. So this happens on the client. You open it, and then you see it blinks. Because when you open it, it's sending JavaScript to your browser, and then it tries to open, and then it blinks, right? Because it's loading. But then this, you see, you open, it's just open because it's using server side. So it's all running on the server, and then it's just sending HTML to your side. This opens, blinks, because whilst it's blinking, this just opens, right? So you see how powerful this server side rendering is, right? But then we can't always do it. Like in that case, you see here, we couldn't do it because we have this search and we have this filter. So we can't do it here. So it's not something that we're always able to do. So sometimes when you're not able to do it, then you use your React components, then you use the use client. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to use the use search, and then we're going to use the loading. So what do we want to do with this search? So you see here, we're searching for chicken. We're searching by category. So we need to say here const. We'll just call it name. Set name. Right. Then it's equals to use state, so it's going to be a name, and then what we want to do, want to pass this name down to search. So we want to pass this name, set name to search, because we want search to be able to set the name. And then we come here, we open the component for search. Yeah, so here, sorry, I'm just gonna go a bit fast, but then I'll explain everything. So here on search, we're destructuring the search. Here we're importing use state, not use effect. I don't think for this we need use effect. And then here we're going to say use client. So remember, whenever you're using state, you're going to be using client. Yeah. So in our use state, this needs a state to hold the values. So I'm going to say categories. Okay, there's an O here. Okay, then set categories. Okay, that's perfect. Then we need one for, we need one for search. Okay, and then no loading. So here the value, so this is just normal React, no issues here. Category, categories. Okay, then when it changes, we want to take the element, then we want to set the categories to the event dot target dot value, and then we also want to set the name also, because remember here we're passing down the name. So yeah, the name is now changed in the parent, right? So name yeah is now changed. So name by default, it will be chicken because we wanted to get chicken. Then here we make this dynamic so that yeah, instead of always getting chicken, because yeah is always getting chicken no matter what, we say get name, right? And then get name. So when you start the page, when you load the page, it gets chicken, right? But then the set name is being passed down to search, yeah. And then when you change these values, it's going to fetch, right? Let's see if it works. So yeah, we need to change that, right? Since we said chicken, so it's chicken is the default. Let's wait for that to load. Okay, yeah, so it's not going to work as we want because in here we need to put the name so that the use effect can change. Remember how a use effect works. Whatever you put in this dependency array, as it changes, this use effect is going to fire. So as the name changes, so we come here, we change the name to beef, right? As that name changes to beef, it loads beef, right? We need a loading. So here set loading is there. Set loading to false is there. So loading is there. But then we don't want to display if, so we want to say if it's loading, right? We want to display something there. Then if it's not loading, then it means that it's finished fetching. Then we want to display this. Okay, so okay, let's just, okay, perfect. So if it's loading, I want an H1 that says loading. So yeah, you can replace this, with some animation, but then for now it's just going to say loading, text center, then text 3XL. Okay, perfect. We wait for that. So you see with beef, yeah, the styling can be improved. So you see if the text is too long, our div is getting out of shape. So yeah, some of these you can improve. Chicken, then you get the loading, then chicken appears. Lamb, we get the loading, then our lamb appears. So our filter is now working. And then now we want the search. Okay. So for search, we're not going to be passing down the search. We're going to be, for search, we're going to be passing down the set recipes. We want to fetch from search, and then we want search to be able to create a new instance of the recipes. We save, we go into search. So whenever you pass something down, you have to come in here, and then you have to destructure it. Okay, then in search, we need to put a value. Okay, then we say search, and then when search, we say on change. Okay, we want to get the event. Then we say set search. Yeah, this is just basic React target dot value. Then on the button, then when you click the search button, okay, then we want to say search recipes. Copy this so that we don't make a mistake. Come here, then we create the function. It's going to be an asynchronous function, which is just going to, okay, results.meals. Okay, perfect. Then we save. So here we're fetching. So all these routes that I'm using to fetch, they are here. I'm going to include. So you come here, search by name. So this is the link that we want. We come here. Then let's compare with the one that we've gotten. Okay, search v. So it's the same link. Okay, perfect. Let's see if we didn't make a mistake. So we didn't make a mistake. Then let's say chicken search. then we get chicken. Okay, so yeah, then we open our chicken, then we get the ingredients. So the image we have to wait for it to load. We get our image, we get our chicken ingredients, we get our steps, then we get the video on how to make the chicken. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, I'll include the link in the description so that you can get everything. You can get all the code, you can see all the code. But yeah, I think now you have an idea on how to do this, and then yeah, I'll post the link. I'll post the API. So this API is nice. It doesn't need an API key. It's just a free API that you can use. So I'll also put that in the link. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked the video. You know, thumbs up, leave a comment on what I can improve, what you liked, what still needs to be improved. Then yeah, and then any ideas of what you need in the future videos, then I can sort that out also. Okay, thank you guys.